What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Ross, Coach Ross Football. If you don't know about this channel, if this is the first time you've ever been in the channel is all about the spread offense. Anything and everything we can talk about the spread offense, where we're talking about passing schemes, running schemes, O-line blocking techniques, anything you can imagine, we try and talk about it and cover on this channel. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is episode 5 of the series that Coach Bryan, Deason, and I are doing called the Air Raid Blueprint. We are bringing in another special guest. His name is Bryan Klee from Michigan. So stay tuned. We're going to be talking some good stuff here on this episode, and hope you enjoy the video. So, like I said, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 5 of the Air Raid Blueprint. We are joined by another great guest here. Coaches, you may have seen him on my channel. Him and I did a little collab probably about a year ago. We talked about mesh. It was basically my mesh concept versus his defense. That was a lot of fun. We need to do that again. That was a lot of fun. But I have Coach Bryan Klee back here on the channel. He is the defensive coordinator out of St. Joe's, Michigan. Out of, what is it? Twin City Sharks, correct, Coach? Is it? Get me right on that high school.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
Yep.
gonna turn.
Twin City Sharks Co-op.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to you,
All right.
Coach. Why don't you let everybody know who you are? Also, you got a great YouTube channel, so definitely plug that in there and talk about your YouTube channel for a minute or so, and then we'll jump into the video and jump into the concept. So go ahead, Coach. It's all you.
Bryan Klee here, newly hired as defense coordinator for Twin City Sharks. It's a football co-op between 4 schools in the St. Joseph, Benton Harbor area, Southwest Michigan. There's Our Lady of the Lakes Catholic High School, Lake Michigan Lutheran High School, Grace Christian. I think it's high school or academy. I don't know which one for sure. And then Benton Harbor Countryside Charter Academy, and they're together. It's the 8-man team. The head coach, who actually was an assistant prior at Coloma, where I'd been for 11 years, as started off JV head coach for a year, and then defensive coordinator for 6 years, and then 4 years of being head coach, offensive coordinator. So excited to be on again with Coach Ross and Air Raid and all that. So,
So this episode we are talking about it's kind of like a mixture, I would say. In the air raid, we call it Y sale, but Y sale is essentially just a flood concept, but then you can also turn it into a levels concept. Then you can add sprint out to it. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this kind of concept. So again, this falls right into point with this whole idea of this series is you're getting 3 coaches here that are talking essentially about the same concept, but with 3 different angles, 3 different versions of it. So the whole hope and the whole idea of these episodes are for you, if you're learning how to do these kind of concepts, to take away something, something different from each of us. Or maybe you don't even listen to 2 of us, you listen to 1. I mean, whatever works for you. This is the whole idea behind this whole concept, is to learn simple little coaching points to make them easier for you to understand. So we're giving you multiple perspectives of it. So again, we're talking levels concept. We are talking sale, flood, whatever you want to call it. It's essentially the same thing, with a few variations, but same premise, same idea. So I guess I'm up first, so I'm going to talk about mine here, or how I teach it, or how I coach it, and how I bring it to the table. So we're going to get into it right now. When it comes to the air raid, I'm an air raid guy. Why sale? I am not. I will admit that it's not one of my number one concepts that I'm going to put in or that I'm going to use. So I have used it before in the past. Me personally, I don't trust it as much. So what I like to do with my version, I almost treat it just like a simple little flood concept. I take that corner route and I turn it into basically just like basically about a 10-yard out. Do a little bit different, but what I do is with sail, almost always sail or flood or levels. I am moving the pocket for my quarterback. A lot of times I am trying to move the pocket, obviously in the direction that he's a thrower, obviously. So if is a right-handed quarterback, we're rolling to the right. Left-handed quarterback, we're rolling to the left. Just a little bit easier for him to get his shoulder square and make a throw on the move. So basically, what I'm going to do is talk about a few things. So I'm just going to show you the concept out of a 2x2. A lot of times we are going to try and put two defenders in conflict. So in this one, we're going to put two defenders in conflict. We're mainly picking on two of them. So we're going to be rolling this to the right here. Uh, I really want to put the corner and this overhang or this apex defender in conflict because not only is this a pass concept, but I'm also allowing or giving the quarterback the opportunity or the opportunity or the I guess the chance to run the ball if he sees the open grass there to take the easy free yards. So we've kind of ran waggle before. So with waggle, the blocking scheme as far as pulling some linemen as for extra protectors, we kind of do with this. And also use the running back as a protector. So say we're going to run this to the right. I'm going to talk about the linemen and the blocking schemes here for a second. So what we will do is we will pull this play side guard uh, and basically, what he's going to do is he's going to wrap around. He's going to try and just seal that defensive end. Our play side tackle is going to down block here. Center is going to down block. And this backside guard is skip pulling, and he's coming through, basically looking for the first thing. A lot of times he is either helping out with this defensive end, or he is looking for that Mike linebacker that might be coming through, or possibly even this overhang if he triggers for the run because he thinks it's a run. So basically, he's just going after the first thing that he sees. Um, we are basically just hinge blocking here with this backside tackle. Now our running back, he is also running protection, so his aiming point is essentially the back heels of where this slot receiver is pre-snap lined up. So he's running to that back heel right there, and he's going to this space, and he is looking for the first uh, opposite colored jersey that he can find, just trying to keep his quarterback clean. Sometimes he can even hop in and help out with his defensive end if this defensive end breaks wide. But again, he's just looking for the first opposite color jersey. Quarterback is then going to roll, so he's going to open up his hips and he's going to roll and probably get about 2 yards of depth. And he's rolling this way as well. And he again does have the opportunity to run depending on what this apex or overhang defender does. So our routes here, pretty simple. It's a lot like sales. So we're going to send this outside, this wide receiver. He's going to go on a mandatory outside release vertical, and he's just getting vertical. Now, do we throw this route a lot? No. No, we don't. It's typically a lot of times it's a clear out route, trying to just occupy this corner and get him the hell out of the way. That's essentially what we're trying to do is just take that corner and take him with us, take him out of the field so we can clear up the space underneath. So our slot receiver, this is the one that we usually hit a lot. So he's going to do, I'm going to back that off there a little bit. He's going to try and stem this route to the inside a little bit. So he's going to try and stem it to the inside a little bit, maybe even potentially get this defender if he's going to trail him to flip his hips and run. And once he flips his hips and run, that's when the receiver is going to make his break. And he's essentially just going 10 yard, maybe even less than 10 yard out as opposed to a corner. We're not running a corner route on this. Now, as far as the other levels route, now a lot of times you have a shallow coming here. I do have the shallow coming, but what I do is I add a little in motion to it just so that we can get that shallow to pop a little bit. So he'll come in motion, and then it's a kind of a slower motion. Then once that ball is snapped, he's going right through on a 1 yard drag coming across, and that should be that should be the route arrow. My fault. Let me fix that. There we go. 1 yard drag right there. And then our backside receiver, there's a lot of things you can do with him. Again, do we throw this route? No. But I mean, we are sending this route as a way to occupy a player. So we're going to have him go on a deep crossing route, basically trying to run right through this backside corners or backside safety's face, just cross his face, trying to keep him occupied, trying to have him not break down on this drag route or come play more in the middle of the field because he sees that the pocket is being moved, so where he could potentially make a play on either this route or the drag. So this route is just meant just to kind of occupy him and basically just keep him in the middle of the field as opposed to getting shallower and making a play on one of the balls right there. And so, again, we are trying to put two defenders in conflict. Now, first conflict defender would be this corner. Because obviously, if we're pre-snapping the safety, if this safety is inside the hash, so if we actually move him inside the hash, there's a potential that we could potentially hit this this go route here very easily, especially if we're rolling, that corner sees us rolling, he triggers and he moves down. completely forgetting about the receiver and thinks he has safety help over the top, and he doesn't. The quarterback does have the option to throw it over the top. So again, first thing we're going to try and do is put this corner in conflict, but then we are really, a lot with the air raid. We are trying to pick on this apex defender a lot, all right, because he's got a lot happening, all right. Does he trigger on the run? Does he go and chop feet and go with this out route, or does he stay true to his flat, zone right here in the flats, even seeing the runner, seeing the running back come at and him thinking it's run, does he stay there? Because then that opens up the out behind him, especially if the corner goes with the vertical route. So there's a lot happening for this defender. So really, we are playing it off of this one again, trying to clear this corner out, and this defender basically just has to defend three things. He has to defend the out route, he has to defend the drag, and he also has to defend against the run. So that's essentially how I like to run my levels concept. It's definitely not Y sail by any means, but it's very similar. It's a flood concept, and that's how I try and flood the zone there. This is one of my favorite ways to run it. I also run a rollout with quick aim with slant flat with like this, just like this, that works really well. That's obviously for another video, but this is my simple little um, levels concept here. Again, it's a sprint out for me. Love to move the pocket on this play. And again, trying to pick on two defenders, either this corner, if we can hit the long ball, or this apex defender, and he has to defend either the out route, the drag, or the actual run from the quarterback.
Hey, that's a great concept, Jason, man. I like how you attach that to look like a counter or look like GT, bug something. I mean, that flow concept was really nice. I'm going to share, I guess, three different versions here. You can see we talked about shallow. So I'm going to, pinch that in there. I do have the shallow offense. So I got to show you how we kind of get to it, how we run levels. For us, this is our base levels concept. Um, X is going to be on the high dig. The F is going to be on the low dig. We have H split out. We call that a right position. So it's blue right. And then the Y, he's going to be on his little 5 yard out. We want to make it kind of look like stick. So if you go back to the stick video and watch our stick rules, we're going to use the same similar rules that we use for stick for Y's route. Okay, so he can bend it up if he needs to. He can hang it up in there if he's in zone and he finds himself open. Mike has come after the quarterback or something like that. We'll just let him sit down in the zone and hold that pocket. The shoot's obviously going to be hot for us. So if Will or Mike decides to heat us up, or if that strong safety comes down and they're on some kind of twist or something, we'll just throw the shoot right away. So whoever's not in charge of the flat, they're going to get torched, right? So we're looking to read the flat defender to the corner, and then we'll come back across to our levels concept on the backside. A lot of times we'll run this, and I'll show you another version here. We'll run it wide zone to the right, to the left with this, and roll out kind of like Jason had talked about. And these digs will just carry across the field. Obviously, if we get man, we have the opportunity to switch these digs up. We'll just say flip, and instead of F running the low, he'll run the high, and the X will run under. Okay, so the best thing that we say that we like to run it against is a cover two look. So I guess our main coaching points, is the X receiver. He needs to stay vertical, at least 5 to 7 yards. He really wants to sell that vertical threat before he makes a sharp cut to the inside. He can keep running. We want to break inside, aiming to get the inside leverage on the defender, right? Okay, we want to always try to maintain our inside leverage on our defender, and he needs to be prepared to sit in the window, okay, against zone. So we get the zone look, and they're dropped into their spots. We're looking for the holes in between, okay. So our Z, our flanker, he's out clear route, just like Coach talked about. We want to take this corner as deep and as far down the field as he wants to go. He's going to set up and he's going to come down. He's playing in the thirds. We want him as deep in his third as he can get, right? If they go cover two and he's got the flats, we want to make him declare what he has right away. And that's why we put that hot shoot in there, right? Okay. So our Z defender, again, his rule is stretch the defense vertically, get them down the field as far as we can, occupy the safety. If we can pull the safety over, that strong safety over the top of his route, if they got a slow corner, we're going to take advantage of it. We can alert that. Okay. So, take your shots, guys. This is what this play is built for. Think of it kind of like slot fade um, in this configuration, right, with your stick behind it. And then maintain your speed. Maintain your speed through the route for the Z receiver. For that flanker, he needs to be as fast as he can every single play. If you got to pull a kid out and put another one in there that's got fresh legs to run them off when you go run this play, that'd be my suggestion for you. Okay, make sure you got can catch. A lot of times we won't throw that, right? They'll rotate over on us. We get cover two. They'll rotate well, or you got a kid that plays hang technique or something like that. It can be kind of tricky when you're running it with the stick and the shoot like this, right? Okay. For my Y, again, release quickly off the line. We're not looking to get touched, just like our stick rules. We want to get out as fast as we can. We want to not hand fight, not check anything because we're in a timing route. Okay. We need to get to our spot as fast as we can. We need to try to maintain our position underneath the defender just in case our quarterback does need to run and get out of there. Okay. Keep the route flat, keep it as flat as possible, get across the field, and occupy the linebackers. Okay. We want to occupy that apex defender as much as we can. If we got to throw a block for them, that shoot route, we want to be able to make sure that our feet in position, we can turn and punch and turn and drive. Okay. So we work a lot of stock blocking technique with this particular concept. And I think about 70% of our stock blocking drills comes from this level concept. So be ready for the quick throw and turn up field and get that yak yardage as much as you can. Right. So for our F on that dig low, again, sell the vertical. When we run this with the shallow, we run our corner route out here. We run the post if we're on the backside of shallow. Like we flip shallow, he's running the post or the dig. We want that dig to look just like shallows dig. We want it to look just like if we're running mesh, right? Or if we're running all hooks or all curls or something like that. We want that dig to be fast as you can, occupy the apex defender, look to make sure that you're in the hook curl zone for the defenders if they're zoned up, and be a big target. We always tell our kids to post up like you're a post player playing basketball, and you're posting up, ready to get the ball. We want to see both the numbers. We want his elbows wide, his hands tight in front, ready to noose up the ball as fast as we can get it. And then obviously with this route, you can adjust the depth. Okay, so with our low dig, we try to adjust the depth based off of what the overhang defender's depth is. If his starting depth's 5 to 6, we're going to run that 7, and then our high dig needs to be at least 5 yards above that. So you can see how I have it drawn here. We try to keep at least 5 yards separation and 3 yards trailing separation between the two receivers in any of our level concepts. So if we're running drive, if we're running Y cross and we have levels attached to the back of it, if we're running floods, and we have 2 outs on the backside or 2 slants that turn into return routes. We want to make sure that those offensive players are trailing each other, maintaining their zone integrity and keeping zone windows open. Okay. Control the defenders. I think it's in any levels concept. I think it's the offense's responsibility to occupy the zone and occupy their defenders, right? Okay. That's how we get open. The more we can do that, make a kid do his job, make him stop his feet, right? Make him stop there and try to post you up, try to make that pick, right? Because you're opening the window behind you or the window in front of him that's going over the top after they get stacked. Okay. So those are some of the main coaching points that we like to get to when we're teaching levels. And our running back, get your head around. I always say, get your head around, get your chin on the quarterback. I want your chin through his chin. Get into your shoot route as fast as you can. Don't even look back. Don't worry about the corner. Don't worry about nothing. I don't want you dancing. It's a fast drive your feet, chin to chin. Get your hands up, ready to catch the ball. Because if it's hot and it's coming now, it's probably coming over the top of a strong safety or a Sam linebacker. The ball's going to be coming with some speed. He may not have the laces, maybe wobble. So you need all your attention through your target, through your diamonds, chin to chin, and make sure that you're running a good flat route for that guy. I'll go back to say, is if his chin is through the quarterback's chin, that route will stay flatter. You won't see him drifting and introducing more yardage into the route. Okay. So those are our main coaching points. These coaching points will stay over the next couple of concepts, and I'm fixing to show you these will go a lot faster. We just want to show you how we go from levels, how we go from shallow to levels, how we go from stick to levels. These are all the same concepts as we teach them, right? So the teaching points are not going to change through each one of these concepts as we go. So I'll be able to go through them pretty quick. So I'm just going to say this one, we call this one levels shoot. Okay. So here's our shoot route. Here's our levels. Our next one we have, we like to make it the drive concept. Okay. So we run shallow a lot. Okay. So you can see the difference between this levels concept and the levels concept that we just had is okay. When we make it look like shallow, our shallow route is coming from our X receiver from the outside. Okay. So this looks the same. This looks the same to the defender no matter how many times we call it. If he's running shallow, if he's running the low dig, it's going to look the same. If we're running snag, he's got the same departure. It's all the same concept. Okay. Once you get into these and you start making your plays look like the other plays, it becomes easier to teach the concepts across the board for your offense. Okay. The F is going to be on the high dig. Okay. So the shallow obviously has the shallow dig. So this would be a flip. You could call it levels flip. And so if we called the flip, again, X would be on the low, F would be on the high, vice versa. We call it flipped again. We could say X is taking the deep and then F is taking the shallow. Okay. So we could call it F shallow. So there's some different ways that we can get to it. The biggest thing that we're looking at right here is what makes this the drive concept. If you're looking at the dig and the shallow coming from the same side with the back going to the side of the shallow, that's what we consider a drive concept. Okay, so that's why I have up here on the top, we have drive. Okay, so shallow levels or drive, we can call them both. The difference for us for the drive is our Z would come in motion and he would run the post over the dig, right? So we have post dig shallow shoot. So that would be basically how we're going to read it. If we run it as drive, we run it as shallow levels. We're still on the shallow first, then we're going to dig high, then we're going to check our stick, then we're going to get out to the shoot. Again, if I have the alert on the Z and I think we can take it, we would take that shot. We don't take it a lot, but it is something that we are capable of, and you guys should be capable of too. The other thing that we do on this particular version is to make it again look like our other concepts. Is we do what we call a orbit. Okay, we also call this a satellite route. So Z would come on zip, and we'd say zip. If he's coming zip, he's just coming in, right? He can come in and then he'll run this vertical route. Outside release, we're just trying to get different leverage on the corner. We're trying to bring him with us so we can get the inside leverage for him, and then we can keep our go on the outside. Those will be the shot routes that we would take. If he goes on orbit or satellite motion, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to come in. We're hoping to bring this corner in with us. And then as he returns, we're going to snap the ball about 7 or the right position. And again, he's going to run his go from there. Okay. So again, stressing that corner. We think we can beat this corner all night. There's no reason why we wouldn't take it. Okay. But within our levels concept, we want to read our levels first, backside, or an alert. Okay. So those are the two different ways that we would run this with the shallow concept, and we get to the levels the same way with the drive. And then the last way that we run it, I can get out of here and we'll get into this other one. It's going to look the same. So this is our zip concept that we call, and this will be levels on the front side. Okay, so Again, our stick we're going to get from our Y. The F's going to run the high dig because the stick is occupying the lower underneath the fender in this concept. Z still going to take off. He's going to clear that out. And this is not your typical flood concept, but what we try to tell the X is get your butt across the field. We don't want to get rerouted. I don't care if you have to zigzag through here, up and under. Get to this location over the Y starting position as fast as you can. Okay, so we don't have the shoot route in that part of the flood concept on that side of the field. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace the lower underneath receiver, right, our check down with the X. Okay, so most of the guys, X is probably one of their fastest guys on the field. If not your Z's the fastest. You know, those two fastest guys you got. If they're not getting cut, they're not getting rerouted or anything. There's no reason why they can't make that over there within that time. So in this concept, we just roll out, we'll read this. Um, Obviously, Y has the ability to check release, or he can stay. We can get a block down on Sam with the F, and he doesn't get into the levels route. And we'll still have the levels concept coming late from the X with the Y or the F, just depending on what kind of defense you get. Again, we pair that with zone, so we can obviously flip um, the back and just run it, straight flood. Okay, so those are the three ways that we run the level, shallow, drive, flood, cell type concepts. And this is kind of how we do it. If you guys have any other questions, again, just hit Jason up in the comments, or shoot us an email, and we'll be happy to show you more. If you guys want to learn more about the shallow offense, man, we're going to be coming. We got about 7 more of these to do, Jason. So we'll just keep building it. I'll keep showing you guys versions of it, and we'll just keep rocking.
And as always, man, bringing the fire with you with these concepts, man. Anybody would be stupid not to be following you, trying to figure out your offense. So, um, good stuff, coach. As always, I appreciate it. You went into a high depth with the levels and the drive, and love it, man, love it. And it's all bringing it back to the shallow concept, which is your baby. I know that. So, thank you, coach, for that. Coach Klee, you are up with your stuff here, so we're going to get you rolling here in just 1 second. Looking forward to hear what you have to say.
So I'm a little bit like Coach Ross. I was not a full air raid coach per se, but we played an opponent for years that they would just run a simple X sail, Y sail out of 2x2. It'd be they were one of those teams that if it's past the 40-yard line, they're going to go for it. Play was coming, and they put whatever you call that outside linebacker, just sprint out, puts that guy in a bind. So when I became offensive coordinator, we also run this. We made sure that we had some sprint out concepts, and I guess big thing take away a couple coaching points in general. We go full outside zone blocking essentially. Just don't go downfield. Everyone's reaching and hinging. Quarterback, we won't really want to we'll put a cone probably about 3 to 4 yards behind the quarterback's initial alignment and behind that tackle, and that's his aiming point. Taking 9. Is this a situation I'm going to tuck and run it, go get mine, or is that is that guy coming up, which means I'm going to be able to get to the passing. And then Coach Deason, I can't compete with the level of detail he had about the wide receivers. It's really important to coach those guys up that hey, you need to create space with your route. Your is the depth that we have, and you are running it where you are because create space because we need to make that outside linebacker wrong. So what we ended up doing primarily, we mainly ran our sprint out concept out of nub trips, and I think we called it probably very similar to Coach Ross, something that was a true sail concept. We only called that probably I don't know about 4 or 5 times. Quarterback just didn't love it in season. We did a little bit more passing in the preseason stuff. But we would tag it. Number one, if we tagged you, you're the deep route. And then our other rules outside of that, however, the coaching point that we picked up actually from a flexbone team, Cary Grove High School in Illinois, they ran a levels concept out of flexbone. And key coaching point that I do think that's worth talking about is that out route. As soon as you clear the outside linebacker, snap it to the sideline and expand to create a bigger triangle and really create space. And if that outside linebacker keeps dropping, you keep running it deep until you get to 10 yards to create more room for the shorter shoot route that's running at about 2 to 3 yards, because that's ultimately the space you're creating if the box is able to help out a little bit. So thought that coaching point's worth putting. We also went sprint levels 3, so just kind of a variation. The X really kind of turns into a deep curl, but you get the same 3 routes in the distribution: something deep, something intermediate, something short. And where are we here? Oh, I want to go here. Sprint levels 2. I actually got just a little bit of film I'm going to share on that. We do not run it well on the film, but our right tackle's worth watching to get you a feel for what the offensive line should actually look like, and what my offensive line coaches are coaching those guys up to do as far as reach and hinge. And again, it's just to typically that having that deep route that gets that outside linebacker, that curl flat guy, it gets him to expand for depth, which creates a lot of space for H's in most situations. Those are going to be speedier guys and create a lot of space for him to get it caught, and it really turns into kind of a glorified screen. So real quick, we'll get to the end zone shot. Watch number 55. He's our right tackle. And I think this is worth sharing for any guy who's an offensive line coach in the air raid. 55 does exactly what we want. Gets him reached, hinges, gets him back inside. Number 23, he's the running back, like Coach Deason said. Coach Deason had him aiming wide, looking to seal that inside linebacker, so that way you really create that complete bind for the outside linebacker. So let it play through one more time. Just 55 does this. He's perfectly coached, and he's executing perfectly. Yeah, 88's chasing now at D. He's never going to get caught back up to our quarterback. And then the rest of this, I'll let it play out. There's a broken play throws, you don't get a great view of it. But our quarterback had some issues. Just he wasn't comfortable with. We repped it for. We had it in the game plan our first 2 weeks, and it just, he's like, man, I don't feel great throwing it. I'm not having success completing balls. He did tuck it and run twice and got some big yards, but what we did run a ton of, it turned into our short yardage play, and it's similar to Coach D's levels, and it's got a little bit of like a stick and snag feel to it. We called it sprint left rub 3. We could either, depending on the formation, H is ultimately going to run a whip route, so very similar to kind of sitting down on a stick, and that's going to get that outside linebacker to pull inside. Like Coach Deason was talking about, Coach Ross talked about, it's all about creating that bind for that outside linebacker. And we really, we told our quarterback, you're creating a 3-on-1. That outside linebacker, our running back, our A-back, he's going to get the inside linebacker block. That is his job. He's looking to help on the defensive end. Tackle does his job, and our tackle is a little bit undersized kid, but extremely athletic, so he was going to get guys reached. Our A-back's taking the inside linebacker, so that outside linebacker, he's got to come up and support. And if the secondary is not man, they're in complete trouble. And even if they are in man, that route's got a lot of room to sit down and, like Coach Deason was talking about, post up, get big. So complete bind for it. And the funnest thing that we did, and I think sharing film on this is worthwhile too. We had a throwback for that whip route. So take off, and the aiming point for him, he was to sit down at the original alignment of the number 3 receiver, and that get big, and then drift to open space. Most of the time he drifted outward because safety was working down to him. Again, this was mostly a short yardage, 2-point play for us. down by the goal line some. So that was a sit down area. And our quarterback, your mindset was, just like both you guys have talked about. Most defense, the corner is going to take care of that X. Even that X in his slant corner inside like this, the corner is going to take care of that and match that. It's not going to be a throw, especially quarterback on the move. So our first look is, hey, that does that quick route, that shoot route, does that pop wide open? If it does hit it, that guy should be running his landmark, get 1 yard in the end zone on 2-point play. Make sure you're running that route at exactly 4 yards, catch it, get your first down. So, and then second, the whip route behind it, and third, obviously take off and run. And actually, on this, he always got a kid to come up, and so he'd be pulling up, and he'd hit one of those two. And just sharing a little film on that. Here with the arrow route, actually, I'm talking about corners not coming up on it. Quarterback had the chance to throw it to either guy there. So that's hitting the arrow route and creating the spacing. Here, number 4, he's probably our best player here. So the defense overcommits to him. Quarterback finds some room for the whip route. And whip route, he needs to go inside just a little bit more than what he does here. But he does create space. He finds space. He's a nice tall target. Quarterback goes and gets him. And Coach Ross spent time talking about rolling left or right based on the quarterback's hand. And our quarterback actually said, "Hey, Coach, I like rolling. I like rolling to the left more because that sets up the throwback better." So here's the throwback. So number 5, he normally would be the whip here. He's going to keep going across. And he just pops wide open for touchdown. And we're playing a team that beat us earlier in the season, opening round, playing them and ended up putting the first touchdown on the board against them. So some of our stuff that we do with our sprint out game, either a variation of Y-sail or levels, like both Coach Ross and Coach Deason talked about.
Hi, Coach Klee, that was awesome, man. That was good stuff. And actually, just kind of off camera, we were just talking about it. I'm stealing the throwback, so that is now I'm gonna claim that as mine. I'm gonna take all the credit, even though you know what if they say no, no, Klee showed it first. I'm gonna say no, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna steal that. That's good stuff. I appreciate that. Also, I didn't talk about it earlier in the video, but again, I'm gonna drop down. Coach Deason's stuff, his information is already in the description, but we're gonna add in Coach Klee's information, contact information down in the description. So if you want to get in contact with him, please check out the description. He'll have his email in there, his any kind of social media that he's involved in, Twitter, right, Coach, or X, I guess you would say. But he also has a YouTube channel. So Coach, I'm going to let you go ahead and just kind of plug your YouTube channel here and definitely go check it out. Give it a subscribe and go give him a watch. He's got a lot of content on there. I mean, he's got a ton of content that you could be watching and learning some stuff. So, Coach Klee, take it away, man. Let's talk about your YouTube channel real quick before we go and get out of here.
Thanks, Coach Ross, for letting me plug myself a little bit. Look up Coach Bryan Klee, Coaching Football with Bryan Klee on YouTube. I did have some stuff. I didn't know how much we were going to be talking about, and we do end up running some quick game out of a wing set. And so if you're maybe a little bit more run oriented off coach or something like that, I do plan on getting a video up there soon. And you're one of those defensive coordinators, and you're trying to find a way to stop Coach Ross, Coach Deason. Definitely navigating back towards putting videos out, because that's what interests me right now. So just if you want to check it out, give it a follow. Great. It's always fun to interact with coaches whenever anybody asks a question, and we can quickly help out. That's something that all of a sudden YouTube try to do. So
Awesome. So appreciate it. So guys, go check him out. So yeah, gentlemen, I appreciate you joining me on this. Deason as always, man. You know, you're the partner in crime with this. You're the one that helped come up with this kind of this idea for the series. So I appreciate you hanging out as usual. Coach Klee, thanks for being a guest here, man. I hope to get you back on the channel here soon. Actually, yeah, I was thinking maybe we get a nice little segment where we're just talking defense. I know that's unheard of on my channel, but maybe we'll talk a little defense. So before we get out of here, Coach Klee, you got anything to say before we go ahead and get out of here?
Thanks for having me. If you haven't subscribed to Coach Ross's channel, subscribe to him. If you like anything about offense, and then obviously especially air raid, and if he's got great guests on like Coach Deason, like that's I'm going to be a wide receiver coach, and I felt like I picked up a ton of stuff. Ended up scribbling on about 3 different notes on just the details of the routes. That's something that where I was previously that was under coached, and really excited to be coaching receivers, and thanks guys for teaching me quite a bit in a short amount of time tonight.
We appreciate it, Coach. Coach Deason, what you got?
Hey, Bryan, I'm going to steal that concept too, and I think I'm just going to call it Levels Corner or Levels Cross because that was a great play. And hey, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Keep coming back. We'll keep putting this content out there. I'd love to do a defensive one. As good as I am with offense, I'm probably just as good with defense too. So that's how you get good. I mean, you have to know what the defense is going to do to what you're doing, and that's how we all get better. So the more we can all share, and the more we can get together as coaches, brainstorm. Maybe one of these days we'll come up with something that's unstoppable, right? But no, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, go subscribe, hit the like buttons, watch the videos. If you got any questions, just shoot us an email or contact us at our contacts that Jason's got listed for you guys. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and I'm gonna echo what he just said. Y'all, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments because we're doing these videos for you guys to try and help coaches because we were all those coaches that were just starting out, and quite honestly, probably when we were all starting out, we didn't have this platform like YouTube where we just had all this content at our fingertips. So definitely take advantage of it and ask questions because we're here ready to answer them. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, guys, gentlemen. As always, thank you for joining me, and look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And again, like usual, like at the end of it, I have no idea what we're doing next yet. So I mean, that seems to be the tradition for me to say on the end of these episodes. I have no idea what's coming next. So tune in and find out. So I guess that's what we're gonna say. So look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Thanks, coaches, for joining me. We'll see you.